my big philosophy that I've followed a lot is like don't worry about tomorrow, don't worry about yesterday because they literally don't fucking exist. Like you might not like as maybe morbid as this sounds, like you might not make it to tomorrow. So like
Mm.
why get worked up about it and ruin today? Dude, like I did it every day. Like I went home and I wouldn't get on video games. I wouldn't do anything other than to come home, eat food, Ableton. Fucking if I'm putting in 8 hours at work for somebody else's dream, I better be putting at least half, if not more, into my own dream.
Welcome to Beyond the Bass, a podcast where we go beyond the music and into the full, authentic stories of your favorite artists. No sound bites or surface level moments. This is truly a space for depth, honesty, and connection. It's my hope you'll walk away feeling more connected to your favorite artists and maybe even a tad more inspired to pursue your own passions too. Today's guest is Jaden Weiss, better known as Tezarakt. He primarily produces dubstep inspired by Subtronics, Grizz, Tynan, and Wooly. And he also touches on some drum and bass, glitch hop, and house. Feel free to listen in pieces or jump around as you'd like. Now let's dive in. Dude,
What is that?
what's up, brother? I love the energy. Like Saturday morning, we're here and we're up and we're out and we're doing things.
We are. I still gotta sleep in a little bit though.
Yeah, I know. Well, noon's not too bad. Actually, it's technically afternoon. But
But
I love every time I see you. You have sprouts.
of course, man.
Dude, I love it.
I gotta represent the rave scene. You
Dude,
know, if you see a
100%.
sprout out in public, you know that like
Dude,
these people know.
100%. That's why I have a Subtronics bumper sticker.
I got a bunch of stickers on my car.
Yeah, you got a signal, dude.
Although I don't have one on my own.
Not yet.
No.
Why not?
I mean, I've printed a bunch of them. Johnny made me some.
You just didn't put it on?
I just never put them on my car.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, you got some work to do after this podcast, huh?
Gotta do this right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks for coming.
Of course, dude.
Really stoked to have you. I have been, I guess, following you for over a year now. And
awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think I remember the video that like first put you on my radar. It was the sacrifice video, the Instagram video,
Of course.
which went pretty viral.
Yeah, it did pretty good for sure.
Oh yeah. I don't like to bring my phone, but I wanted to bring my phone just to play this clip for people because I think it's important to hear the sound and also just bring us back down memory lane. It's been over a year, right?
Since Sacrifice, I think we might be over a year for
Yeah.
Sacrifice. For sure, actually.
Don't you do it.
But you can't do this to me. You know how much I sacrifice?
Oh yeah, dude, absolute banger.
There's a sound of an impact gun from my shop I recorded.
Oh, sick.
in
That is
song.
wild. All right, this is on airplane mode. I'm actually gonna turn it off just so there's no interference. I don't need this thing. Get the technology out of here. But yeah, dude, like that was the Instagram video that I saw, and I was like, this guy is onto something.
Yeah, that one was wild. I didn't expect. I mean, I posted a bunch of videos that were kind of similar to that, and like for some reason that just got people's attention the most, and they stuck around for the longest. So, that one worked. That one helped me get a lot of followers for sure. I remember when I was at Lost Lands, and I wasn't getting like great service, and so every single time I'd get connected, it'd be like, yo, plus like another 150 followers, plus
Wow.
like So I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, yeah, it was crazy. And then I got
That's
back and I was
wild.
like, damn, I was trying to hit 1,000 this year, and now I'm gonna hit 3,000 and like that. It was wild.
And there was I remember there was a comment train to get Subtronics on there.
There was, but I mean, I'm fairly certain he's heard the song now because I saw him at an after party. He was playing out here in Denver, and I was at the front of the decks and had a USB of a couple of my songs on it. I came prepared. I had a feeling that he was gonna be there because he was playing Cyclops Rocks. So.
Oh, was that like the legendary afters where he's in like a really tiny room?
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we used to go to that place all the time. So I used to go there, and I was there one night after Cyclops Rocks, and I had just had a feeling he was gonna be there, so I was by the front of the decks. I had USBs that were prepared with a bunch of my originals that I made, and I told him, I was like, "Yo, you helped me, like, you inspired me to make music, however long ago at that point it was." I was like, this is what I've made out of that inspiration."
Wow.
And so I gave him a couple USBs, and then I ended up shooting him the threads. Like, I was just like, I was like, I gave at Subtronics a USB full of my originals on it this weekend, and at an afters. And I haven't heard from him, but he said he would hit me up, and then he threads me back and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna listen to them, but I washed the USB, so send me your SoundCloud links."
He washed it.
Yeah, he put them in his pocket and washed the pants. Yeah.
No, Subtronics. Why did you
Yeah.
have to wash the USB? I mean, I get it. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it was pretty. I thought it was pretty funny, but the fact that he still was like followed through and was like, "Yeah, I'll listen to it," like, so that was sick.
That's sick.
Yeah, some of the SoundCloud stuff that I sent him. So
Dude, that's incredible. Yeah, that's what when I first heard that song, I was like, yeah, this gives me a lot of Subtronics vibes, and it was great, and I enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it. I do want to kind of get into kind of the origin story and how this came, and like how your music came about. I would love to start by kind of just asking what you want people to take away from your story. And like I'm kind of playing with asking this question in the end or the beginning. I think it's actually really nice to ask it in the beginning because then like you kind of give people something to think about as they're hearing your story. So I guess if there were one takeaway that you would hope people would have from your story, what would it be?
it's a good question. To just have fun and be yourself, because if you just put yourself out there, you will find your audience. And if you want to put yourself out on the internet or artistically or creatively or however, you should just do it and do it wholeheartedly to who yourself is, and just enjoy doing it for the art, not for the outcome.
Dude, I love that. I love have fun is like it's so everyone says it, but like it's really something that I'm trying to encompass like in this podcast, like in this room, you and me right now, like we're just having fun.
Yeah.
We're just two dudes like talking about music
Yeah,
and
and
all that fun
we've
stuff.
met before.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were doing this now, which is sick.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, we met before in that parking garage. And
Yeah.
a couple times we had met before that as well. I think at Larimer, right?
I don't even remember. A couple times I think it might have been Black Box.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like have fun, and I love like don't focus on the outcome, like focus on the art.
Yeah, and like even like I've just enjoyed doing and going out and hanging out with people and just meeting new faces and talking to new people. Like I feel like this is how I made up a lot of my friends now.
Yeah.
And like what I've connected to with people the most through is just music.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, that's sick. Awesome. Well, I appreciate that as like a nice little priming. I would love to just dive into your story, right? Like I would love to start by going way back, like as far back as you want to start. It could even be your childhood. Like we've talked about that on a couple of podcasts. Like where do you think it's relevant to start? Like what was it like growing up as Jaden?
I mean, it was never really like on the music side of things.
No, before music.
Before music. I mean,
well, I guess it depends on how early you got into music, but
I mean, I did recorder and shit like in elementary school,
dude. Yes.
And then I was in like choir, and then I was in bell choir.
Okay, so maybe your life really starts with music.
But I mean, it's like that wasn't like the prevalent thing. It was just always in the background. Like
okay,
like music had always been a thing that like I was doing, and
Yeah.
but it was never something that like this is what I want to do. This is the goal that I want to do in life. And I was never like incredibly good at like reading music or doing anything like that or music theory. Like it was always just like singing songs in choir. So you just memorize words.
yeah.
But
Are you from here?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
born and raised.
in
Born and
Denver?
raised. Yeah. No. Well, yeah, in Denver. Yeah, technically in Denver, I think. The hospital's Rose Hospital. I don't know where that's technically.
I don't know
Maybe
where
it's
it
in
is either. I'm
Littleton.
not
I don't
from
know.
here.
You're not? Where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Not New Jersey.
Getting shade. Oh man. All right.
No. I just think it's
Yeah,
only been there
New
once.
Jersey, like my
Jersey
experience in
Shore,
Jersey
I
was
just feel like it
mid.
gets bad rap because of that whole show.
Yeah, Listen, Jersey Shore is like South Jersey. I'm from North Jersey, very different place. But Jersey's pretty mid in my opinion.
Like Colorado's pretty sick, you think, huh?
Oh, I love Colorado.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So far, so good. It's been almost a year. Okay, so you grew up pretty local. There are not many like local people out here. What was it like growing up in Colorado when it wasn't, or Denver rather, when it wasn't like this massive boom of people?
I mean, like it wasn't really Denver. I grew up in Castle Rock. I was just born in Denver, and then I grew up in Castle Rock mostly. And I was actually pretty much the entire time of my childhood. And it was pretty good. I mean, it was awesome down there. It was a nice neighborhood to grow up in. I'm very grateful that I grew up in that area. It's very nice. And I met a lot of cool people there. I still have a lot of my childhood friends from there. So, and then as soon as I turned 18, we went not super far from Castle Rock, just Lone Tree, just like slightly north. And then we just kind of went a little bit north from that, and then we ended up going to Aurora because it's a little bit cheaper. So, and now me and my sister own a house in Aurora. So we've just kind of been all kind of just in this kind of Denver metro area, a little bit south in Castle Rock. So, yeah, it's been pretty nice. I mean, I love the mountains. Snow sports are always been a big prevalent. Every single winter or something. We'll go do something, sledding, snowboarding,
Nice.
whatever it is. But yeah, it's always a fun time. So.
Cool.
Like I always I take the mountains for granted. I think sometimes because like I've had people come here that are visiting from Kansas or whatever, or even places that just don't really see a whole lot of mountains, and they're like, "Whoa, like holy shit," like I'm just like I don't even acknowledge them sometimes, like they're just there all the time.
Totally. Yeah, no, I mean I'm lucky enough I have a partial mountain view in my apartment, and I grew up in New Jersey. There's no mountains really there. I some mornings I kind of forget, but most mornings I try to take a look at them and be grateful because it's such a beautiful sight to see.
Yeah.
And grow up with it. So you mentioned, as far back as elementary school, there was a musical influence of some kind. I guess before music really became a big part of your life, who were you as a kid? Like what traits in you then are still with you today?
I feel like I've always been creative for sure. Maybe not like musically or anything like that, but I've always just been just make stuff and put things together and try this and make little makeshift ramps and whatever, trying to do just crazy stuff.
Yeah, ramps for skating?
Yeah, like skating
Okay.
and scootering. That was another big thing I did was scootering and skating and biking and rollerblading. I did them all. I was a big skate park kid. Yeah, always at the skate park.
What did you love about the skate park?
Just having friends that were into something cool too, and seeing what kind of crazy tricks they could pull off, and challenging each other, and just being like, oh, I got a trick that you couldn't do, so then you guys kind of go, it helps you guys get better,
Yeah.
So it was always a good time going there and doing that type of stuff.
So you were building stuff, very creative.
Yeah,
Did you
building
have a
ramps and
passion
stuff.
project when you were younger in terms of creativity?
No, I mean probably most. I mean like maybe just the scootering career. I guess like that was pretty much the biggest thing I did.
Career.
No, that's what I wanted to do at first was be a professional scooter.
Cool.
So that was kind of a thing. Tried to get sponsored, but
What was that like?
I just didn't. It wasn't really. I never did get sponsored, but I sent in videos and shit to like random scooter companies and shit that I wanted free parts from.
Sure.
So just taking clips at the skate park and stuff, and then people got way too good,
Yeah.
I was like I could do backflips and stuff, but I can't be doing nothing crazy.
That's sick. Well, I think a backflip is pretty crazy if you ask me.
Yeah,
But
I mean
I have zero skate experience.
yeah, that's fair. I mean it was yeah. It's a good time. And then I got into BMX not too long ago. Me and my buddy kind of hopped back on the bikes and I started doing that again a little bit, but now I'm working a blue collar job, being a mechanic, having to be on my feet all day. Doesn't really work out if I hurt myself, so I need my hands, I need my feet,
Yeah.
need my legs and all that. So
Sure.
can't really work and get paid if I hurt
Sure.
myself.
So the dream when you were younger was to be a professional skater.
Skater, scooter,
Scooter,
just
yeah.
something, something in the action sports, just
Yeah.
doing something like that. That would be so sick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at what age did you realize that really wasn't feasible? or did you stop pursuing that dream rather?
Um, I feel like it became like less serious after I realized that like my buddy was probably 4 to 5 times as good as me. Like he was doing stuff that I couldn't even do one of, and this dude was doing 4 of them in the air at the same time, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how you're doing that, you know?
Yeah.
And he got sponsored by the company I was also wanted to send some tapes into, and I was like, it's just never that's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he progressed with it so fast. I just don't understand. You know, it like clicked for me, but it didn't like not like the crazy shit. And this dude was just ballsy. He would come into things going fucking 3 times as fast as I was doing, you know? So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, maybe this isn't it, you know?
And how old were you?
Probably maybe 14.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe
cool.
like when I started high school, roughly, I kind of
Okay.
stopped kind of doing it as much, you know? It was a lot when I was younger, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you realize like, this is probably not actually gonna work out for me, like, what did you do? Because like it sounded like that was a dream for a while.
I mean, yeah. I mean, then I kind of started, you know, but like I had still been doing it, you know, for fun and no
Yeah.
longer really taking it seriously. But it was just kind of like, you know, like I'll go to the skate park every once in a while, you know, or I'll still try to keep these on lock for a little bit, like these tricks that like were my best ones. I'll still try to make sure I can do those every once in a while, you know. But I mean, I haven't been to the skate park in a while, but I still have a board. I'll always have a skateboard, just
Cool.
because it's just a better, you know.
Yeah.
Like I can always do something as long as I can still always ollie and hit a kickflip and a pop shove it. I'm happy, you know.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I love that. That's super cool. So you mentioned you have a sister.
Yeah.
Any other siblings?
Nope, just the sister.
She older, younger?
She's older. She's turning 26 in March.
Oh,
26,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, wait, how old
Yeah.
are you?
24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. 2000s baby.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Nice.
2001 actually, but yeah, still 2000s.
Yeah, definitely. Post 2000, it's a whole different world. And that's not throwing shade. It's just a different thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. We're all weird. How about that? We're all weird in our own ways. And so, what was it like? Like, what was your relationship with her growing up? You guys live together now?
Yeah, we do live together now. Yeah,
Cool.
we've always been pretty good together. You know, I mean, obviously we've had our dumb childish fights, and especially when we were staying home together on our spring breaks or summer breaks or whatever, and we were doing all that. Of course, we were getting fights. If I want to do this, no, I want to do this. You know, so but like other than that childish stuff, yeah, we've grown really close, and her and I are really good friends.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you like look up to her at all when you guys were younger? Like,
Of
did you have
course,
similar
yeah,
interests?
Of course. Maybe not. Well, yeah. I mean, we both like to draw every once in a while. I mean, she does crocheting her hats.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. She's been doing great. She's got just a sick setup and does customs sometimes, and it's really cool. Yeah, she does really awesome stuff. But yeah. So she kind of still always has an artistic / creative side. So it's always good to be able to connect with her on that. And she loves EDM, obviously, so that's why she does a lot of these bucket hats.
Cool.
She's actually the one that took me to my first EDM show and the EDM show that got me inspired to do this whole thing.
I'm excited to hear about that in a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
I just saw that Instagram post.
Yeah, that was, of course. Yeah, that was a good time of my life.
For context,
Yeah.
Jaden just posted an Instagram. It was like a video. It's like, in your 20s, someone's gonna ask you to go to a festival or a rave, and you're gonna have to say yes or something like that. And it's like changes the trajectory. So we'll put a pin on that. That's a good like teaser. I like that. Cool. And so it sounds like she's also creative. You're creative. Does creativity run in the family?
Yeah, I guess kind of you could say that. My uncle Scott, I believe, he's been he's like super good at just drawing stuff. Like even like if he uses pen or whatever, he's just excellent at drawing things. He used to send us stuff in the mail that had his drawings on them all the time. So,
Cool.
yeah, so I guess it kind of does run in the family a little bit. You know, like I feel like majority of us have some level of creativity somewhere or another. You know, except for my dad, I don't think.
So like you didn't grow up like as a family like doing creative things together.
No.
Okay.
No, definitely not. Well, maybe like me and my mom and my sister,
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a relationship with your dad?
I mean, we did for a while. And then he he got married to his girlfriend at the time, or his girlfriend now. Her name is Carrie. She they got together or whatever. She has a daughter, and there was like a family secret that that I wasn't supposed to tell, and I was I was young, and I came across the information. I didn't come across the information. I was told the information by my dad, and I was told not to tell Carrie's daughter. And so one day I was hanging out with one of my buddies, and I had told him what happened, and and he didn't know that Tegan wasn't supposed to know, the younger one. He didn't know that she wasn't supposed to know, so he ended up kind of accidentally spilling the beans to her.
Wait, what? Sorry, what
I
happened?
know I can't. I don't really want to explain it in detail.
Okay.
But
Yeah, explain what you're comfortable explaining, and we could skip it if it's also not something you want to continue.
no, it's
talking
just
about.
like he basically chose another family to chose to go run off with his girlfriend instead of because she was like yo like basically some shit went down, and she was like, I don't want your kids here anymore.
Mm.
So he was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna live with you then, and just
Wow,
not pick up the kids anymore. And so he bailed.
that must have been really hard.
Nah, I mean, it was my mom and him got divorced when I was like 2 or something like that. And then they
Okay.
went to court and shit, and child support and fucking all that bullshit. And so like we only saw him like Tuesdays and every other weekend. And then he got married to this other girl, and then they got because he had cheated on my mom, which is why they got divorced in the first place. He was having an affair, and then he got married to this other girl, and then he had cheated on her too.
Mm.
And now he's with this other girl now. Who knows if he's fucking cheated on her the fourth time? But I wouldn't be surprised, to be quite honest. But yeah, so he kind of he also like took this is like fucked up. This is crazy fucked up, but he also took all the savings. Like when my mom found out that he cheated, or that he was cheating, he took all the money out of all of our savings account, like my mom and my sister, and like their joint bank account, and mine's and my sister's, and went and took the girl that he was having an affair on my mom with to Disneyland with it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, piece of shit.
Wow.
Yeah, but then we, did child support, and we had custody and shit. Or he had a little bit of custody. So, oops. Sorry, I keep bumping that.
It's all good.
So, yeah, then he got with this other girl, and some shit went down, and she was like, yeah, I don't want your kids here anymore, coming here anymore. So, he just picked me up one day, because for some reason that happened with my sister before. So like he stopped seeing my sister first.
Mm.
Yeah, so he was like it was just me going over there for a while. It was just me going over there for a while, and then somehow it happened with me too. So she was like, I don't want your son here either. So he just would he would pick me up, and then he'd drop me off and be like, tell your mom that I had to go pick up whoever from the airport, or some fucking make up some lie or whatever. And then my mom started getting sus about it. I was like, yo, what? That just doesn't make any sense, And so, and then he just stopped coming. Just didn't pick us up.
That's really tough, man.
Yeah, I've forgiven him since, though.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I've had my fair. I mean, as much as I was using psychedelics at fucking Subtronics, I also have used them to have some pretty in-depth conversations with my friends and get through a lot of shit and come to a lot of conclusions that have helped me a lot. So, I've definitely forgiven him, and we've gone to lunch and talked, but there's not really a relationship there.
Well, I mean, I'm really sad to hear there's not a current relationship, but at the same time, you just mentioned something wild. How you've used plant medicine to kind of work through some of this stuff.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Forgive your dad for what sounds like, I don't want to overuse this word, but some trauma in your childhood.
For sure. Yeah.
It's funny because the episode that I recorded with Blossom, we also talked about plant medicine, so it's coming up again. Are you open to like sharing?
Oh, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a pretty open book. I'll tell you pretty much anything. So,
Sweet.
yeah, yeah. I had a pretty good period of my life with my buddy Keaton. That we got into music with him, and I were really really close. He kind of got me on acid. I mean, he hadn't gotten me on it, but he had introduced me to psychedelics and plant medicine because he had gone on a whole retreat. Oh, fuck, I'm so sorry. I
It's
keep bumping
okay.
that.
We'll figure it out.
Um,
If you guys hear bumps in his audio, it's because he keeps hitting the mic.
it's because I'm. fucking
But it's
dumb.
okay. Sometimes it happens.
Anyway, yeah. So he had he had a run in with them as an experiment. I had a run in with him as an experiment when I was younger. I did a couple times of acid when I was younger, and it was a fun time. It was I didn't understand it yet, and it was just for shits and gigs, having fun. It was like the first time smoking weed, like it's just for fun.
Mm.
And then I didn't never do it after that. And then he kind of got into it a little bit, and then he moved to Seattle, and then he went on this whole retreat in Guatemala. It was like a whole crazy thing that his whole life journey was after high school was just all over the place. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then he came back, and him and I started hanging out again, and he had kind of gave me the rundown on like spirituality and plant medicine and energy and meditation and yoga and things like that. And so we had and sacred geometry and all that stuff. So we had a bunch of in-depth conversations, and some of those in-depth conversations we'd be like, yo, like, because I had done acid before, so I was kind of open to the idea of like mushrooms and acid. And so he had introduced me to mushrooms, and so we did mushrooms once. And we were out in a tent in the middle of the forest and just took a couple, just not a bunch, but just a little bit of mushrooms. And then we smoked, and I didn't really feel a bunch of the mushrooms, but then we smoked, and I was very confused because I couldn't tell what the mushrooms was and what the weed was. So I was kind of like was kind of uncertain of what was going on. And then we were chilling, like there was nothing crazy that happened. And then him and the girl that he had brought like walked off, for a second, and I was sitting by the fire with my ex at the time, and there was like a bag of chips, and we thought it was like some creature. We freaked the fuck out. Both her and I saw the same thing, even though it was just a bag of chips. And it freaked us out.
So that was not the trip where you worked through stuff with your father.
No, I'm just giving you an introduction on like my plant medicine stuff.
That's like that was got it. That was the intro into
the
how
intro
it
to like how I got into like
Sweet.
how I realized.
Dude, that's scary bag of chips.
Yeah, dude, for real. Sorry, I'm giving just a bunch of background information.
No, it's fine. I just like sometimes need to like figure out where I am.
Yeah, okay,
Orient.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I like discovered, because the first time was just kind of like experimental. That one I had been like, before we took those mushrooms, we had done a little bit more spiritual stuff, like with like crystals and kind of setting the scene and setting the set and stuff like that. So and kind of seeing that side of it and seeing that that it's not just a drug. It's not just to get fucked up. And then we had done mushrooms again, and kind of just started like that one was a little bit more in depth, like where we just started talking just about life stuff and nothing crazy, but just like in life, just like life stuff. And that's when I just kind of discovered like the fact that like I feel like energy is definitely a real thing, like you can feel and shit, because I felt like I could really feel different types of energy that night.
Sure.
And that's kind of how I got introduced to that. And then the more we just started doing trips, and then we started living together, so we started tripping a lot. And just doing acid every weekend and doing mushrooms the next weekend. And every single time we would trip, we would just have super in-depth conversations. We would go on hikes, and then and just do stuff like that. And then for my 19th or 20th birthday, I think it was 20th, we went to Zion National Park. We took a bunch of gel tabs with us, and on my birthday, we took a couple tabs of acid and went on just walking around in Zion National Park. Absolutely beautiful national park. I would want to go back there so bad. And we found like this little natural water slide that had like, green moss coming down like this angled rock that would drop you into the water. And we were just out there for hours just talking and hanging out and just talking about life stuff. And yeah, I mean, I have a lot to thank for Keaton and psychedelics, because I feel like psychedelics help kind of keep your kind of open your mind to the idea of I don't want to say change because it's not necessarily change. It's just the idea of what you're talking about. And Keaton and I would talk about forgiveness a lot, and being present, and just taking it day by day, going with the flow. Life is a wave, like so you're gonna have peaks, you're gonna have valleys. So like we talked about a lot of that type of stuff.
I think it's so beautiful. Like I also am. Well, let me back up. I have used plant medicine throughout my life, specifically to like grow and work through things that I needed to work through. And so I too have experience and a lot of gratitude for that, for the medicine, for those plants. And I just think it's so beautiful that you've had these realizations where, for lack of better words, like everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
right? Like you're talking about, your dad not being around and that strained relationship, and how, who knows, like maybe that's the reason why you created some of the stuff that you did and the reason why you're here now. And it's crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy to think like how life works like that.
Yeah.
I think there's a saying that comes to mind from a dear friend. Um, it's everything works out in the end, and if it hasn't worked out yet, it's like it's not over.
Yeah.
And I think like we don't really have the full story or the full picture of our lives yet.
You're right.
So the way I view it is like, okay, something that I perceive as bad happening to me today might be the greatest thing that could have happened to me, 3 years from now.
Yeah.
My life looked a lot different 5 years ago. I was a very different person. I was not in this scene. I was not in Denver. I was not a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I look back at that time, and it was hard, and it was challenging, and it was stressful, and I wouldn't change a second of it. And I'm hearing very much the same thing from you, which is like really, really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at, where I'm going, and where I've been, because it's made it. I mean, it's made it into this,
Dude, I love that so much.
and like the whole wave, the wave theory, I guess you would call it, of like, I really think that we're on a constant wave. Like, we're all just on sine waves, and some days you're gonna have you're gonna be down here, and some days you're gonna be back up here. But, I think that it's just about being present, and you have to have the bad days if you want to enjoy the good days. If you had a good day every single day, you wouldn't appreciate them.
Yeah. So you had liked dubstep, or rather EDM, for years before going to the Subtronics show,
Mm-hmm.
but you weren't producing?
Yes.
So like when did you get into just generally EDM?
So I got into like just generally in EDM, like Excision, like early Excision, like Existence VIP, and like early Skrillex, and all those early like UKF dubstep on YouTube and shit. Those were the best, dude. Those were the best. Little blue sub,
Yeah.
Yeah, those videos were the best, and those always had a bunch of cool stuff on them, and that's where I kind of like really got hooked on dubstep. Was like, oh, this stuff is really cool, but like I didn't understand, ripping a rail and fucking like hitting the kicks and the snares that are just like so impactful and powerful, and it makes you feel like you're just hitting a wall of sound. Like I didn't understand that part of it yet. It was just like, this is cool,
Yeah.
like this is cool sounds. I've never heard these yet.
And roughly how old were you when like this was like starting to form?
Probably like 5th grade, however old that is.
Okay, so young.
Yeah.
Okay, very young. I didn't realize it started like I didn't realize you got that into the scene at that early age.
Yeah, I mean, I that's when I like started. That's when I discovered it, and
Yeah.
it was like kind of like, oh, this is really cool. And so you go on YouTube and look up heavy dubstep drops, like, and it would just be these compilations of like, just a bunch of random music,
Did you have friends that also enjoyed that, or was it just you?
It was me and my sister, and
Just you two.
Yeah, one of my neighbors, Brady, him and I used to listen to that stuff too, and just go scroll through YouTube and find these dubstep drops. And then, when you get into middle school and you start being able to put headphones in and stuff like that when you're sitting in class and doing all your work, you're putting on heavy dubstep, or you're on the bus and you're like listening to dubstep, and just like, you're like, oh yeah, this is fucking sick, And then you start finding other people that are doing the same thing, and like, oh, these people are cool too, But I didn't ever realize that that's like where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. It's just, I thought it was a cool genre, and then I kind of fell off of it for a while. I mean, like, it's not that I didn't ever not like it. It's just I wasn't continuing to follow like artists and see what cool things are going on and new songs that are coming out. I just didn't really look into it anymore. Started listening to other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you drop off, and what point in your life was that?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like it just like it's not that I did. I guess I just like didn't really care anymore. You know, like I
Mm.
just like stopped.
Just kind of grew out of it.
Yeah, I just like kind of grew out of it. I was just like, okay, yeah, there's other cool music that's out there, you know, and that I wanted to start listening to, and like I started listening to a little bit more rap, and like my buddy showed me his subs, you know, when his older brother got a car and put subs in it, and we started listening to like rap songs on that, and it was like, whoa, dude, like the big bass, you know, the 808, and so then you start listening to a bunch of other genres, and I just kind of grew out of dubstep for a while, and then I think it was kind of like Grizz, like Rainbow Brain, and like all that stuff that kind of really pulled me back into it. LS Dream. Like I always had a love for EDM, but like I wasn't ever like really looking for it anymore. It was just like when a big song or a cool song would come out, that like I'd be like, oh, then I end up hearing about it from someone else. I'm like, oh, this is a cool song, you know?
It was making its way back into your life
Yeah,
slowly.
yeah, yep. And then in 2018, my mom bought me and my sister Excision Paradox tickets at the First Bank Center, which has been torn down. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah, so sad. But yeah, and then we went to the Paradox tour in 2018, and it was cool, but like I wasn't quite old enough to understand it yet, you know.
Mm.
Like we were just on the side of the stands. It was cool to like kind of headbang around a little bit, but like it was never like really getting in there, you know, and just having a good time and just letting loose and being fully fucking immersed, you know. And it wasn't quite like that yet, but it was good like to just see it live and like kind of understand it. Like he still had lasers, and it was still a good time. 2018 wasn't, you know, any small feat for Excisions. It was still a pretty big show, you know.
Mm.
And then I didn't go to any other shows after that until 2022.
Oh wow, it's like
Yeah.
a 4-year hiatus.
Yeah, that was the first show.
Longer than Grizz's hiatus.
Yeah, it was one show, and then I never went for another 4 years. And then on 420 in 2022, me and my roommate weren't like doing too good, you know, getting along wise, and so I was just like, I don't really want to be home on 420. We were gonna hang out and smoke, but I don't really want to do that. I didn't know what to do, so I was talking to my sister, and she's like, well, get a ticket to Subtronics. Like, Jaden, you need to come see Subtronics. Like, please, like, it's $30, and it's at the First Bank Center, and it's Subtronics on 420. This is $30 tickets. Like, what the hell is happening, you know? And so I was like, okay, fuck it, like whatever. Like I don't really want to be at home, so I'll just $30. Like I get to see a rave. That's cool. Whatever, I'll go. That took a fair amount of acid, and I had a great time. And the whole reason, like the whole reason why I'm so inspired by like Subtronics is because he predicts head movement in his music, and he does it better than anybody else, and I fucking love it so much. And like he builds it up, and like I can give you an example. I don't know if I'm allowed to play. Oh, my phone's over there. But in the very first drop of That's What I Recall Rhythm Volume 5, it's like there's like all this noise, and on the backswing, if you headbang through the fake out, so at the top of the build-up, if you headbang through the fake out, you'll hit all these like fake notes, you know, and on the backswing, it'll be a ding. That's like the Mario coin ding. And then when you come back forward and slam your head down, all of it comes back in. Like all of it comes in. And like that, he just does that the best. And that's what I fucking love about him. And I just wanted to learn how to do that.
Wait, this is fascinating because listen, I'm not a producer, right? But like Subtronics is my favorite artist.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Subtronics, you a goat, you the goat. But I've never heard anyone describe his music the way you just did. So help me understand how you came to this realization.
So,
And I love it, by the way.
Thank you. So, even in like a lot of rhythm songs, like there's like, if you at the top of a 16-bar build up, right? So like, let's just do an 8-bar build up. You know, it's pretty easy to predict that like, okay, this first section is slower drums, then it gets faster, then it gets faster, then it gets faster, and like because your brain just naturally wants to work like with music, you can kind of predict when songs are gonna like be at the end of their drop, you know, like when it's been 4 beats, so when it's gonna kind of change like just audibly listen to something, you should be like, you can kind of, even if you're not a producer, but like, you can kind of listen to something and go, oh, this sounds like it should go like down next. This sounds like there should be a change here, you know, like. And so like instead of it just being repeating, like I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I feel like just naturally, you know, when it's gonna be 4 bars, like you know, kind of when 4 beats has happened. I feel like I'm over explaining this. Anyway,
No,
so
it's good. It's good.
at the top of an 8-bar, the top of like, you know, an 8-bar drop, you're gonna be able to tell when the drums are supposed to go to the drop. You know, like that's how everybody predicts when the drop's gonna happen. So if you were to take like the first half bar instead of putting a kick in a snare, so it would be like, you know, you put a wee wah, it would go wee wah, and then everything comes back in on the next one. And
Yes.
Subtronics does that the best. So because if like you headbang on that first one, thinking that oh this is where the drop's gonna start, you hit like a wee wah, and then when you come back down, you're like. Because you do those two and you're like, oh, damn, I didn't hit anything. And then you come back down on that next one and all of it comes back in and you get caught by surprise. It's like a tiny mini fake out. And he just does them the best. And he just knows where, like, he knows when people are going to be headbanging. And if you headbang through something, like, I guarantee you he sits in his chair sometimes, like, going like this, you know, when he's making shit, making sure that his head is hitting certain things. I don't know, bro. Maybe that's
Do you
just
think
me.
it's a conscious effort and decision by him to do what he's doing, or do you think it's like he's subconsciously just like producing what he thinks sounds good?
That's a good question. I think he I feel like he knows what he's doing for sure.
Okay.
I feel like he knows for sure that like because I was watching back some of the Fractals videos that like from that night because it was a Fractal set. And I was watching back some of those videos from that show that inspired me, and even in some of the videos, I'm just like, like, of course, this is why I fucking figured, like, this is why I got inspired, like, from that, because like that's crazy. Like, it just he does it so well. He'll like build up with one song, and then he'll fake out with another song, and then he'll hit him with a tiny like 2-bar fake out, and where it's like a wee wah, and like even in the middle of drops, he does it really well. Where like
Yes.
you'll be like in the middle of headbanging super hard, and all of a sudden you'll just hit like nothing. It'll just be like, you know, and then everything comes back in. You know, like it's fucking crazy, and I love it so much.
That's
So,
so fascinating.
that's
So
why.
so that show, take me to that show. Like you weren't really sure what you want to do. You want to get out of the house. Your sister invites you. You go. You take some substances to kind of elevate your experience.
Yep.
What's happening in that show? Because I have my very own version of this story related to Subtronics at EDC Orlando like 2 years ago. So I'm curious, like, what exactly is going through your head at this point in time?
I mean, you know, the first couple sets were like Tynan back to back. I forget who, but it was it was a good set. It's not like it was bad or anything. It was a good set. And then the next one was I believe Virtual Riot. I think we got there a little bit late.
Solid stacked opener.
Dude, it
Jeez.
was a great lineup. I mean, I think Leotrix was on it too. Actually, I might be wrong. Yeah, it was a great lineup, and we were there, just having a good time. And Virtual Riot came on. I was like kind of sitting down because I was coming up. You know, I was just kind of a little bit nervous. You know, I was a little in my head. I was like, oh God, like what if I got myself into too much? You know, but I read on Reddit that like if you're gonna go to a rave, never mind, I'm not gonna say that. That's bad influence. Anyway, so I was a little nervous coming up, and then I bought those like kind of rave goggles that had all the refraction stuff in it. You know, I was sitting in my seat, and because we didn't get the floor, I was sitting in my seat, kind of just like in my head thinking about like, oh God, like blah 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 whatever. And Virtual Riot was playing at this time, and some guy in front of me got like he stood up and got all like amped up. He held onto the rail during a build and was like getting all amped up. And I was like, yo, what's about to go down? What the hell? So I like took my goggles off and I was okay, what's going on? So I like stood up and I grabbed the handrail next to me because we were at the very bottom of the stairs. So I was just like using the stair rail.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like grabbed that rail next to me and I like just at the top of the build up, I just started fucking headbanging. And I was like, oh, yo, this is sick. Like when you really get into this and you just like rip a headbang, like this is sick, you know? Like this, it feels good. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels good. And
I know exactly what you mean.
like it just feels like you're getting hit by a wall of sound. And like when I say that, people are like, "Why would you want to get hit by a wall?" Like, and I'm like, you don't understand though, because it's like it absorbs into you. I don't know. It's just it feels good. It's just sick, you know?
So that was like the first moment, it sounds like, where you got into like you understood what was happening.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, this is really cool for sure. Like
And
when
this
you
was
really,
in the Virtual Riot
yeah,
opening set.
this was like
Okay.
he was direct support for Subtronics, so the
Got
next
it.
person was Subtronics.
Got it.
And like, so that means I was probably gonna be peaking during Subtronics because this is probably right when I like kind of was there for
Yeah.
sure, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then I just started headbanging with like through Virtual Riot a lot, you know, and just was getting hyped up. I was just hyped about everything he was playing because it was a lot. I mean, maybe it was the acid, or maybe it was just overall just enjoyment and like being there older now, being able to kind of understand and grasp the concept of how actually crazy this is, that this is even happening right now, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and like hearing sounds that like were new, because like the last time I had really heard and loved dubstep tremendously was like Excision, Skrillex type of age, and so like it was a lot of new sounds and things that I had never heard, and then Subtronics came out and just gave me so much stuff that I had never heard. I had heard some of the things that obviously because I had gotten back into it with Grizz and Ellis Dream, and kind of that more side of things, but then hearing it, in your face with lasers and a whole screen and really loud bass in the First Bank Center, and with acid on top of that, I was just blown away by everything that was happening, And then Subtronics came out, and I headbanged through that, and every drop was just insane. I feel like he just predicted every single thing that I would like. Every single time that like I was like, oh, okay, this isn't gonna be a fake out. I'm just gonna headbang through this. I would just headbang at the top of the build up, and my head would hit all these like fake notes, and then it would be like and then all of it would come in, and it would just be crazy. And I just was blown away by everything that he did, and just the lasers and the new sounds that I had never heard before, and just all of it combined. I was just like, this is so crazy, and it would be so fucking cool to learn how to do this and like make sounds. Like, how do you even do this? Like, how does this even work? Like, what the hell is this? Because this has to be something deeper than like just bunch of random noise and scratchy things. Like, there is something so crazy to this that like I need to understand, and I want to understand.
So you had this realization during the set
Yes.
or after?
During the set,
Okay.
in the middle of Subtronics, I was like, I need to learn how to do this. Like this right here is fucking sick, and this is what I want to figure out.
Wow. Wow. Subtronics, if you're listening to this or seeing this, like, you've inspired Jaden here, but also a ton of other people. Like, I don't currently produce, but I have a similar story to Jaden's too, to your story, where like I think it was 3 years ago. I don't know. It was EDC Orlando, like, call it 3 years ago. It was the first time I was going to see Subtronics. And I had heard, obviously, like, I got into the scene late, right? So, like, I like to say I was a late bloomer. And I was, like, into melodic dubstep. That's what I grew up on, like the Millenniums, the Seven Lions. And just getting a little bit more into festivals, a little bit more into dubstep. And EDC Orlando, I think it was 2023. So maybe that was 2 years ago, or 2022. Not important. Like, it was a Tezarakt set. So whatever year that was, absolutely shattered my brain into a million pieces.
Yeah.
And I was like, that for me, like, permanently changed the game.
Yeah.
Like, that single set, I like to say, rewired my entire brain chemistry to like love dubstep.
Yeah.
And specifically Subtronics.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. I don't know how he does it. He's just. I don't. He leaves me speechless all the time. I don't know. He left me speechless the first time I met him. Me and my sister and my ex we wanted to go to Kansas because we wanted to see an Anti-Fractal set. Obviously, we've been to him every single year for Cyclops Rocks, except for I didn't go the first year because I believe that was the year that he was here for Wormhole. Oh no, the first year was 2021. He did a second day, and that's when he added the first bank show. So if he didn't sell out the Cyclops Rocks set, he wouldn't have ever added the second show. So he did add the second show, and that was at First Bank Center, which I think is super cool too.
So this was how many years ago?
2022. So it'll be
like 3 years, or
almost 4
years.
years ago. Yeah.
Okay. And so after that moment, crazy experience, or during the moment, you're like, I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
What happened the next day? or like the
Well,
next the weeks after that?
I mean, the weeks after that, I dove into a bunch of different artists. Just that kind of became my only genre after that. Like, this is what I like. I want to learn what these. Like, I want to learn just how these are normally played out.
Yeah.
How do these sound? So then I just started looking into a bunch of different artists and remixes. I mean, definitely going off kind of more of the Subtronics stuff, and Excision always has been. So I like kind of a big inspiration too. I would say because he's been one that we saw the first time, Excision, and he was also the ones that I started listening to the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of stuff about his music that is also a very big inspiration for me too. So, yeah.
Okay, so you started diving into the genre, but you didn't know how to produce. So
No,
like,
I didn't.
how
So
did you
yeah,
like?
right.
How did you just
Right.
you just dove in listening to the music? But how did you learn how to like produce, or how did you start tinkering?
So my sister's ex, he was a producer, and he was kind of producing like drum and bass and just like kind of really whatever, just kind of whatever he wanted to produce. He just had Ableton. Um, and so he was using Ableton, and then my roommate and my ex, when we all lived together, we decided this is when we moved to Aurora. We decided Keaton had produced music previously because he's just one of my buddies. Him and I are still good friends. But he had previously produced a little bit on Ableton. I believe Ableton Lite. Like he just kind of had a free trial or like some trial of it or something.
Mm.
And then he wanted to learn a little bit of production lessons from Kygo, and he had found a masterclass that.
Oh, I've seen that masterclass actually.
Yeah. Yeah, so he had found a masterclass for Kygo, so he ended up taking that masterclass when we lived together. And I ended up getting a copy of Ableton from my sister's ex. So I had Ableton, he had Ableton, so we kind of just started goofing off and made a bunch of random stuff, and he started using it a lot more than I did because I didn't really understand it. It's a hard program to learn at first. It's intimidating. You don't really know what you're doing. I didn't know anything about music theory, so I didn't know what notes are good, and I didn't, this was Ableton 10, I believe, so I don't believe there was like a highlight feature where I could just put it in a scale mode. So I had to pull up on my phone what are the chords and how can I figure out how to make these sound good together. I didn't know really what I was doing. And it was just a lot. It was just a lot to work with. And then I discovered, I could just use audio and just use samples. But I didn't like just dragging a bunch of other people's stuff and sounds and making art out of that,
Yeah.
So I mean, not that it's not art. I didn't like that. I wanted to learn how to actually write music and like make melodies and do chords and like, not that I want to know music theory. I just want to kind of understand like what keys are in what scales, so I can just play these keys and make stuff out of it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I ended up doing, is just kind of learning most of the scales. And now I just kind of play all my MIDI. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, that's fine. Just small note: be careful not to touch the mic. Just if you want to move it, just touch the stand.
Okay.
Sometimes it creates like some interference or bumps with the sound, but you're fine. Just the heads up. So, okay. So you're just learning with your sister's ex-boyfriend, basically.
No, so I'm learning. So yeah, so a little bit with my sister's ex-boyfriend and with my roommate because he was doing the Kygo lesson.
Oh, right.
So they're the Kygo masterclass. So he was doing that, and we were just kind of goofing off together because we lived together. But then sometimes I'd go over to my sister's, and her ex and I would do that. So,
So you said it was really hard. Like, how did you struggle through that?
just started learning, watching YouTube videos, watching like little 4-hour online classes I could find on dubstep production, and I watched maybe 10 hours of YouTube videos. And the first YouTube video I watched, I followed everything like not that they're giving steps, they're kind of just trying to tell you how to get here, but I was doing this exactly to the exact thing. I was making the exact same thing I was watching on this video.
Mm-hmm.
Knob turning to the exact same thing, and it sounded cool. I was like, yo, this is sick. Like, this is really cool that, like, I know I just watched a video on how to do this, but like, it's still cool to be like, yo,
Totally.
this is now kind of a thing that I can maybe use to build my own thing, because now I have a little bit of information in here.
Totally.
And then after that, I kind of just went wild on just trying shit, just I had a little bit of an idea on how to do it. I had a little bit of an idea on, you know, what to use, how to use it, not to barely any knowledge, but I had a little bit of an idea of just like kind of how to use these things. So I started messing around with stuff and just kept doing that for a while, and then I moved into my other apartment in Parker and with my sister because her and her boyfriend had broken up. So we then moved in together, and then I started just kind of going in with it.
When you say going in, like just like really grinding, like going hard.
Yeah, it was, that's all I started doing. I would go to work and then I'd come home and we would cook maybe, and then I would just lock in on that for a couple hours. I got a pair of headphones that was nice. So now I had an audio interface, a pair of headphones. I had a MIDI controller. I was like, okay, now I'm really in this. I'm really doing this now.
Yeah.
It's kind of sick. And then Keaton, when him and I, even though we weren't getting along as roommates, him and I, are still good friends now. He ended up saving up enough money to go to KMG, or not KMG, Icon Music Collective in California, LA. And he went there, and I moved in with my sister, and we still kind of both were doing music, and I ended up getting a lesson, or multiple lessons from Tate. So this is when I kind of started going out to raves again and going out to shows and seeing.
Is this still like soon after the Subtronics show?
This is about 2020, like early 2023. It was
Okay.
June 2023 that I like really started locking in because I have the text on my phone that I was asking from my sister's ex-boyfriend what the password is to his Ableton account.
Okay.
So I have that text on my phone, so I can keep track of what day it was. I believe it was.
Okay. So like it's been like 2.5-ish years since you really started to lock in.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you said Tate, Gorilla T.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. So you were taking lessons from him?
Actually,
with him?
it might have been 2022. Actually,
Okay.
It might have been 2022 that I asked for that text.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
It's
Anyway.
like 2 or 3 years of like since you've like really been committed.
Yeah.
And you were taking lessons, learning on YouTube, and yeah, how did the Gorilla T thing come about? Obviously, he was much smaller.
I started adding people on Snapchat, and started talking to a bunch of people that I ended up going to shows, and so then somehow liking things on Instagram that were EDM related. So like all my socials kind of started leading me to more of those types of people, and I started getting a lot of ads on Instagram and talking to people that were EDM and just like in the scene and dubstep shows and all that stuff. And I saw that somebody had shared Gorilla T's Snapchat. So I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna add this fool. Like I have a couple of his songs, and then I looked at his story, and he was doing one-on-one lessons on Zoom or whatever. When this is when he was still small. Like he was just headlining like Dubwub out here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what Dubwub is, but that's when he was still pretty small, and he was doing headlining that, and he started offering lessons, and I was like, okay, this would be sick actually. Like they're not too expensive. Like this would be really good. And so I just signed up for a couple of them for 2 hours, and they were sick. And then we started kind of talking a little bit, and they were just like on Zoom, and we just kind of started talking a little bit, and realized that we were both in Denver, and he was like, yo, dude, for like if you do another lesson, you should just come over next time, and we'll just we'll smoke and whatever. I was like, okay, that'd be sick. So I did like 2 more, either 2 or 4 more hours of some lessons with him, and they went great. We smoked. We went over to his house at the time, and he showed me a bunch of stuff, showed me some project files of his, and I was like, yo, this is sick. Actually, he told me a lot of mastering and mixing advice that really helped out in getting my songs loud and sounding good. So shout out to Gorilla T, Tate, if you're watching this. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
But yeah, it was a good time, and then I took a lesson, an hour lesson from Tynan, and an hour lesson from Nate from Hostage Situation, and that's been pretty much all of my education about it. Everything else has just been trial and error and messing around and doing collabs with people and learning from friends that are just other producers.
Yeah. How would you say? Like, how do you feel about where you're at right now, like your skill level? Like, obviously, you're not Subtronics, but like, where do you think you are? And how much further do you think you have to go
I think that it's I I kind of think it's a wave sometimes, you know, because there's some days that I think that's just with every creative field. There's a lot of days that I will sit down, I'll try to make something, and it's dog water. It's just not good, you know. Like that's just objectively not good, you know. At least in my personal opinion, from what I like, what kind of dubstep. Oops, what kind of dubstep I like. I That's just not. Some days I just make stuff that's not good, you know.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of days that I feel like I just get lucky, you know, where I'm just like, oh, I don't know how I made that song, you know. Like there's still a lot of songs I listen to that of my own, and I'm like, how the fuck did I make this, dude? Like, what the fuck? How did I make this? You know, like, because there's so many days that I sit down and I don't make anything close to that, you know.
Mm.
But then those times that you do end up getting one of those that's just crazy. You're like, oh, this is
Yeah, that's a really great segue, actually, because I want to talk about Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
The song that we initially played at the beginning of the podcast, the Instagram post that I saw, and the first song that you released with a label, correct?
Yes.
Cool. Well, to set the stage, I have to kind of refresh your memory. I want to read the email that you got from the label that you posted on Instagram.
Okay.
Hello, Jaden/Tezarakt. We listened to your demos and we loved Sacrifice. We would like to release it. Please let us know if you're interested. Cheers.
Hell yeah.
So, set the scene. You had just made Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
You were sending out demos, I'm guessing,
Yep.
to labels. Like, what were you like? Did you expect to get a response from people? Like, where were you when this came through? Like,
My buddy Crucible, TJ, love that guy. Shout out to you, TJ. I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, shout out to you. He had a song called "Free Falling" released through Rolling Bass Records, and I loved the song. I thought the song was sick, and I was like, "Yo, like hypothetically, what if you let me remix it? Like, you know, like give me the stems to it and let me remix it." And he was like, "Dude, done. Like, totally, for sure." So he ended up sending me just the whole project file. He was like, "Yo, just take the whole project file, do whatever you want to it." I was like, "Hell yeah!" So I made a bunch of edits to it. You know, added like a little bit different of a synth on the intro, and made the drop a little bit more in my style and less like it's still very punchy, but it's a little bit more. I like to add like complex kind of cadences where it's like boom, like
Yep.
instead of just straight quarter note. And so that was kind of the first song that I discovered that kind of flow, because I had just recently sound designed like a nice chug, nice like kind of gunny chug type deal,
Mm.
and I was stoked about it, so I wanted to use it in a song, and he had just sent me that project file, and I was like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna like try to use this in here. I'm gonna make these. I'm just gonna mess around and see what I can do to his project file and see what happens. And I ended up making something really fucking cool, and I've been trying to get it released for a while. It's just Rolling Bass has not answered. They haven't been super responsive recently, so. I've just been having a hard time wanting to get that released, but I was at this point. I think I'm just gonna self-release it. Just put it out there. I want people to hear it.
Wait, this isn't Sacrifice.
No.
Okay. Wait. I'll hit that, but I want to go back to Sacrifice.
Oh, I thought you were talking about I thought you were just talking about how I got that email.
Well, yeah,
This is going back to Rolling Bass Records.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was just explaining the remix that I did for Crucible.
Oh, that's how you initially got connected to
That's
them.
how I initially got connected to Rolling Bass
Okay,
Records.
sorry,
because
I
I made that
misunderstood.
because I made that remix.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I made that remix, and then I sent that to Rolling Bass Records, and they were like, "Yo, this is sick. Like, that's really cool." And then he threw them a good word for me, and then I had made Sacrifice recently after that song, and it was I did not like it when I first made it. Not like the entire song, but like the first drop. When I first made the first drop, I was like, this isn't great. Like, it's not bad, but like it's not great, And then I added, because I had recently discovered making that remix, that chug that I made is really good, and I could use it for a lot of things, and I can use it for doing cool shit. So then I took that information and I put it onto that song that I wasn't super like big fan of that I had just made, which was Sacrifice, and I threw that layer down and made a bunch of cool different cadences and melodies, or not melodies, but like boom, like gunshots and shit,
Mm-hmm.
and it ended up being really fucking cool. And then I found that vocal, and then I made a first and a second drop, and I was like, okay, I think that's it. Like, and then I was like, it would be really cool to add a third drop though. Like, it feels short, I was like, it'd be really cool to add a third drop. And this girl I was talking to at the time was like, just do it. Like, you got it. Like, and I was just like, do it. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Like, we'll see what the worst that happens. I just delete it and I make an outro and we call it a day.
Yeah, totally.
So I was like, we'll just give it a shot. So I built it up, and then I had this I had just recently discovered how to use an arpeggiator on Ableton.
I don't know anything about that. I also don't know what a chug is. So if you want to educate me and the
It's like
listeners.
like when like in dubstep, it's like it's just like the quarter note thing, and it's like
Okay,
like
cool, helpful.
yeah. So it's like like something like that.
Yep.
That's the noise, and like I like to shorten it and lengthen it, so it's kind of it's like you can make a bunch of short ones, so it's like a something like that.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So I had recently made one of those, just messing around, and so I took that, and I used that in the remix that I made when I got introduced to Rolling Bass Records that I had just messed around with. Ended up making something really cool, and then I sent it to them. They didn't they liked it, but they had just released that Crucible song, so like they didn't want to just do the remix right after it. They wanted there to be a little bit of time in between. So I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. And so I used the information that I got from that to put it on Sacrifice. And then that girl was like, okay, yeah, you should try the third drop. Just do it. And I was like, okay. So I did that, and I built it up. And then I had just recently learned how to use the arpeggiator, which is just kind of like it just plays notes up or down. Like it's like, in Scream Saver, the like,
Yep.
A lot of little beepy noises in the background. That's an arpeggiator. So
Okay.
I had just recently learned how to use one of those. And so I was messing around with it on Sacrifice. I had built up the third drop, and I was like, what if I do this with the arpeggiator? And that's why at the top of the Sacrifice it's like
Yep.
and it slows back down, And so that's when I discovered how to do that. And I was like, yo, that's so sick. And now I need to figure out how to make this to go into a drop. And so I dragged the second drop over and I threw it over there, and I made a bunch of different changes and random stuff, and then I somehow made the arpeggiator stop, like it slows down from like really fast, and then it goes into quarter note, that's how the drop comes in too, is a quarter note flow. So or not quarter note, yeah, quarter note. And so they really mesh together really well right at the top of that, and it sounds so sick. And I was so blown away, like when I figured that out. When it all went together, and
So you knew like you had created something special.
yeah, I was like,
as
yo,
you were
this is
making it.
I was like, this is so sick. Like, I've never created anything like this before. Like, this is something that this is probably the best thing. And every single time that when I make a good song, like even sometimes now, like when I make something that's really good and it blows my mind, every single time I'm like, oh, this is my best song yet. Oh, this is my best song. Like, this is my best song that I've ever made, and I don't think I love Sacrifice so much. I don't know if I've made anything better. I think I have, but
I think so. But anyway. Okay, so you create this crazy thing because this girl that you were seeing at the time suggested just do it.
yeah.
You send it. I imagine you send it off to Broken. Was it Broken Record?
No, it was
What's the name of the label?
Rolling Bass Records.
Sorry, Rolling. I don't know why I just said that. Rolling Bass Records. And did they respond? Like, well, how did they? Was there any back and forth? Like, did they respond in a day? Obviously, you got that email, but like.
So they didn't respond in a day yet. They they hadn't responded quite yet. And I kind of had forgotten about it. I had to get my wisdom teeth out. So I had gotten my wisdom teeth out, and then I woke up and I went home after my wisdom teeth, whatever, and fell asleep. And I woke up like the next day or whatever, and still drowsy and not feeling good or whatever. I pulled my phone out, and I was just scrolling through shit, looking at my emails, and I saw that they had emailed me back, and it was that email. And, I was like, I had fucking pain medicine or whatever, and I wasn't, I was just I was on whatever steroid they give you to, keep it healthy or whatever. And so I like read that email, and then I was like, holy shit, and I like kind of fucking started crying. I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe that like however long ago it's been, I was like, I can't believe I went from not knowing how to do this whatsoever, and now I'm getting this shit signed to a label. Like, that's fucking crazy that this, like, it's actually possible.
Yeah,
and
was
it's
it
actually
like
working?
2 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow. From zero experience to getting your first song signed by a label in 2 years is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. It was really crazy. Thank you.
So that was like a super high, I imagine. You were crying.
For
Like,
sure.
did you think it was a dream since you're on the
No,
the
no, I
the,
knew
the
it was
wisdom teeth
real.
medication?
Yeah, I knew it was real.
Yeah, and then so what happened after that? Like, was there a low that came after that? Like, I imagine that's like a peak experience. Like, did you? Well, actually, first of all, did you celebrate that?
I mean, I don't. I probably smoked a bunch of weed, but no. I mean, like, of course, I celebrated it, like, just like, with my friends. Not necessarily like a celebration, but just like,
Yeah,
it was obviously like a small celebration. Not small, but like it was just like a woohoo, like woohoo.
Yeah.
We fucking. I can't believe that happened. Like, I can't believe I actually did that. Now I know it could definitely be possible for this to do something.
Yeah.
Pretty big. So.
And why did you cry?
Because I had put so much fucking. It took a lot of. I know 2 years. It doesn't sound like a lot to put time into something, but like, in the grand scheme of things, like, to be a master at something, it takes a lot of time. So,
Mm-hmm.
but like 2 years, that was like a consistent 2 years. Like, a lot of people, I feel like they want to try to do, like, I love that people want to do music, and it's awesome. And I've had people ask me like, "Yo, how did you learn how to do that so fast?" And I'm like, dude, like, I did it every day. Like, I went home and I wouldn't get on video games. I wouldn't do anything other than to come home, eat food, Ableton. Fuck, if I'm putting in 8 hours at work for somebody else's dream, I better be putting at least half, if not more, into my own dream when I come home. If I'm gonna go if I'm gonna go do that for 8 hours, and yes, it's a paycheck and I get it's good, but it's not building me anything really other than financial gain. Like, that's it. Not really. Maybe some knowledge. Of course, being a mechanic, I learn a lot of things, but like, and I could use that knowledge to do a lot of things, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm not working really for my own project. I'm working for my boss. That's his project. So I should at least be putting half of that.
So you were doing at least 4 hours a day, every day.
Most of the time it was more, but yeah, I'd
Like 6 hours, 8 hours?
probably 6. I mean, I would get home at 5:30, and I would eat. I'd probably get started at 6, maybe. And
Where did you find the energy for that? Was it just like pure passion?
Yeah, fire under my ass. Like,
There was no procrastinating, no.
No,
Just like,
this
I
is
wanna
what-
do it.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing. So I locked in. I got after it, and so I was doing all the time. I was trying to do genres. I was doing different things. I was trying Serum. I was trying just a bunch of stuff, buying plugins, stretching samples, just trying to learn how Ableton works. And 90% of those days was sitting down and not even saving a fucking project file, because it was just, I would try a bunch of stuff. It wouldn't work. It sounded like shit. I just wasn't really a big fan of it. And I was just like, whatever, this is like, and then every once in a while I would kind of come up with something that was kind of cool. And like, this was a little bit before the whole Tate lessons and stuff. I was just messing around, just trying to figure stuff out. And it's hard to put, 4 or 5 hours of work into something and then click the fucking X button and click don't save. Because it's like, damn, did I just waste my whole night? Can I even actually do this? Is this even fucking worth it? Like, can I even, like, have I just, all the times that I've done something kind of cool, is that just luck? Like, I don't fucking know. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, And so it just felt like, I was beating my head into a wall, where I was drilling all this, trying to do all this stuff, drilling this into my head, to do this, oh, this is cool, trying to learn all these things, and then it would never work, and it just wouldn't work out at the end of the night. I'd click X, it sucked. But then every once in a while you'd get something cool, and then those cool things started getting a little better, and then I made something that was like actually kind of sick, which was Wub Machine, which was when I was like, I released under my old alias, which was Tripped, TRYPT, and for dimethyltryptamine.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah.
I was curious where that name came from and why you switched.
Yeah, that. So I had that name. I released Wub Machine under that name, and it was really cool. It was a cool song, but I didn't know anything about mixing and mastering. The song was super quiet. because I just had turned my volume up on my computer instead of turning my volume up in my song. So song was super quiet. And I had never played a show yet. And, I wanted to kind of learn how to DJ. My mom had bought me a little DDJ 200, just a super small 2 little channel deck, and so I could just kind of try messing around. And then my buddy Beck, also known as Face Melt, shout out him, love that guy. He's one of my best friends. He's the one that kind of taught me how to DJ a little bit. And then so then but I didn't. Tripped didn't quite feel like the name yet. I was talking to my sister about it, and she had gotten me into the whole EDM scene really. So yeah, I was curious what she thought about it, and she was like, it's a good name, but I don't think it really is the one. Like, I don't think it's your name yet. I was like, okay, like whatever. I don't necessarily disagree. And so my sister was like, just put it out there, just put it out in the universe. Literally, just ask the universe. And I was like, so I just put it out there. I was like, just fucking show me what my name is supposed to be. Universe, like, show me the name. What am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to call myself? And then a couple nights later, I had, wasn't really thinking about it. And then a couple nights later, we went to Cyclops Rocks, 3 or 4, I don't remember. And we sat down. It was cold. It was actually Snowtronics. It was the one that was snowy as fuck out. And everybody was wrapped up in their pashes, and we were all just like kind of sitting there looking around, and a bunch of people were in their pashes. And I looked around, and it was like probably 30 to 40 people all around us that were just all, and like it wasn't like gaps of other people in between. It was like just a bunch of yellow everybody had this yellow patch that was all the Tesseracts on it. And I know it's Subtronics' patch, but I was looking around, and I was like, yo, there's a bunch of Tesseracts around us. Like, I know it's a Subtronics show, I know you're gonna see Tesseracts, but like it just seemed like way more than it there should have been around me. Like, there was just a whole collection of them, and I was like, oh, and it popped in my head, and I was like, yo, Tezarakt, that's kind of sick, actually. Like, I don't know if there's a DJ named that. I was like, that's kind of sick. And then I looked it up, and there was no DJ, but there was a band named Tezarakt, and I was like, okay, well, I don't want to interfere with, I don't want to interfere with that. I don't want to have that, that issue. So then I did Tezarakt, Tezarakt, and I was like, okay, looks sick, actually. It's like a sharp looking name. Like, I like the way that looks. It looks cool. So I was like, that's the one. I think that's the one. So I just stuck with that, and it's been doing pretty good so far, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay, I love that story. My brain's taking me back to the peak experience you had with Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that was released under Tezarakt, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I also just love how you asked the universe for it, and it just hit me. Like, it just came back. It's like, oh, this is what it should be. I think there's an interesting lesson there. Okay, so this lesson, or excuse me, Sacrifice. They want the label wants it. You release it. You have these like tears of joy, like all this hard work over the last 2 years, and then what?
So after that email came in, it was super, super exciting. It was I think it was July or August or sometime around then. And then that's when I posted. We had been talking about, okay, when's the release date gonna be? Blah blah blah. Like, come on, I want to get the song out. And then that's kind of when I discovered they weren't as responsive as I was hoping they would be. So then I started hitting them up on Instagram, and they were getting back to me on there a little bit more frequently. And they were like, we got to we have a couple releases ahead, so expect maybe September, because they release every month, and so they were like, expect maybe September, October, and I was like, okay, so that could work. So I took that video, and at the time I was looking into social media stuff about doing good hooks and shit. So that's why I started it with, holy fuck, this is the one. I can't, this is the fucking one. So that's why I started with that, because I felt like that was high energy, and if somebody was scrolling by real quick and they saw that, they'd be like, oh, yo, what is this dude talking about? The curiosity would get them. So I was like, okay, maybe that'll do good. So then I flipped it around and just showed that, at the time I had just got that plug-in mini meters where it shows all the, other little waveforms that are happening. And so I started messing around with that, and took that video, threw some captions on it, and had it in my drafts forever. I just never really posted it, because I was waiting. I didn't want to release it and piss off the label. I didn't know what their kind of vibe was. I didn't want to just do something without their permission. So I was like, okay, so I'll just sit on this for a little bit and wait. And then I communication kind of didn't go super well. It was kind of dark. We didn't really go anywhere. Like nothing really happened. It kind of sucked. I'm not gonna lie. And then we finally came to and then I was like, I'm just gonna put this video out and see if people see what people think of this song, And like the label won't fucking get back to me. We'll just see what happens. Because if a bunch of people want it, then I'm just gonna release it myself.
Yep.
So I put that video out, and then it didn't really do good for the first couple days, and we went to Lost Lands and shit, and then like I said, we were at Lost Lands in September, and it was just like boom, 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 a bunch of shit. I was like, yo, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And it was awesome, and then I got back, and I was just blowing the fucking label up. I was like, yo, dude, we need to release this shit. Like this is like I got a bunch of people that are wanting this. Like this is your one chance to like get in on this, or I'm gonna self-release. And they're okay, we'll do it in November. This is in September, and I was like. Fuck! Well, they at least gave me a date now, and like I really want a label release just to have one and just have that goal, And so I waited a little bit, and I think I waited too long. I think the song could have done 10 times better, if not 10 times. It did really. It's doing very good, but
Yeah.
I feel like I could have done better if I had timed it more.
Yeah.
Better.
It
definitely.
sounds like there was such a high and then almost like a little deflation afterwards because like it took so long to release.
Yeah. It was like that whole peak was. I mean, it's almost got 100K views, and if even half of those people would have just, checked it out when they scrolled by and they would have clicked on it, then that would have been 50K extra plus.
Yeah.
Which because I think a lot of people were anticipating that song and they wanted that song for sure. Because I mean, Rolling Bass on their account, because they released it on their Spotify or their SoundCloud account. I think it has it's their top song.
Yeah.
Which is sick. I have the top song on their page, which is dope as fuck.
Yeah.
I think it's at like 35,000 plays or 40,000 plays.
Nice.
It's pretty good.
And so is that the only song you've released with the label?
Yep. Yeah.
So
everything else has been self-release.
Sorry, everything. Okay. So why is that? Like, is that just like labels aren't interested, or is that a decision on your own?
I think. I haven't sent out. I haven't really done any like demos or sent out a bunch of stuff. I think that. I think obviously labels are very, especially in EDM scene. I don't think that labels are very bad. I don't think they're like the normal music scene. Labels on the normal music scene, it feels like they're trying to fuck you. I mean, you hear stories about it all the time. I don't think EDM labels though are much like that. I think there may be like an agreement on royalties and stuff, but I don't think it's anything crazy. So I don't think that labels are necessarily bad. And I would like to release more on labels. I would love to release on labels. I had a like I said, Rolling Bass Records. Not that they own any of that song. That song is still mine, But their account got them. It got the song 40,000 plays or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some of my self-released songs have done more than that. So, not that they didn't help out on that song at all, but like, I could have also released that song under my own.
Yeah.
After in the right amount of time, and I could have definitely gotten more plays than it would have gotten on the label. And if it's about getting music out there to as many people as possible, then, and I know having a fan base as an artist, you should also be helping the label get more fans and get more people to the label. But the label is also, pretty responsible for getting as many streams to your song as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't think that. I think that for me to want to put a song on a label again, I feel like they should be able to help get my songs more streams than I can already get it myself.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, listen, I don't know much about labels, but intuitively that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So I guess why haven't you been on this like crazy trajectory? And maybe crazy is the wrong word, but like I guess why do you think you haven't like had a couple more breaks or like blown up, for the lack of better words?
I think a big part of it is social media. I think even though I have a fair amount of followers, and I'm very grateful for every single one of them. And I love that I have a little community and a fan base, and I got people that hit me up on Snapchat and just want to talk to me, which I think is sick. I think that's probably one of the biggest things I've gained out of just doing this. It's even just my little fan base that I have now, and my community. It's cool. They're super cool people. Like even like you know, coming when we were at the parking garage, and you know, you came up to me like, yo, dude, like I'm a big fan of your music. Here's like a fan for you. Like I started
Yeah.
this fan company. Like here's a free fan. Like it's sick. I'm like, yo, this is fucking dope, dude. Like this is sick, man. It's cool that we were able to connect. You know, all that what brought us together was the music that you know I was a part of making. You know, which I think is super sick.
Totally. Well, it reminds me of what you said in the beginning, like just doing it for the love of the game, the art,
Yeah.
right? Like you're creating to create, and it's leading to some really great feedback and interactions, and yeah. So I guess where do you want to be in the next like 5 years? Like, do you have a clear picture of that in your head?
I mean, I'm a big believer. I mean, I don't know if you've picked up on it in my songs, but I'm a big believer in just being in the present moment.
Yeah.
And just I don't quite know. I would love to. I mean, in the future of Tezarakt, I would love to at some point be playing festivals and headlining big events, and you know, selling out big shows. Maybe not like the biggest of shows. You know, I'd be happy just selling out Ogden Theater. Like that would be so sick, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But like doing something like that, or doing things to that caliber is a big goal. And I mean, a very big goal is, you know, playing Lost Lands. That's like, and I mean, I don't mean like a silent disco, or you know, I mean like one of the stages. You know,
Yeah.
like I think that's probably the biggest goal I have. That, you know, the biggest aspiration.
Do you know how to get there? Like, do you know what you need to do to get to that level?
I feel like I have a pretty good idea. I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
How do you know? Like, where did you learn that?
I mean, doing it. I mean,
Mm.
getting myself from under 1,000 followers to over 3,000 followers in one video is pretty self-explanatory on how I can do that again. You know,
Yeah.
and getting the fan base that enjoys my music, and have it, like, you know, knowing that a lot of people like my music just based off of just general feedback I've gotten, and doing things like that, and then multiplying that with social media, and then making better music and learning more, and then stacking that with releasing cool art, and releasing
Mm.
new sounds, and then going to shows and networking with people, and doing all these things, stacking all that together, and doing that all at the same time, and doing that in full effect is exactly how you would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what advice do you think Subtronics would have for you today in the seat that you're in?
I mean, I probably the same advice that he had for me after he listened to my songs, and sent me that fucking 4-paragraph DM that he ended up sending me after I.
Wait, what was that? We didn't talk about
No,
that.
we didn't.
Oh, wait,
I
tell me.
I kind of touched on it a little bit when I told you that he listened to my music.
Yeah.
And he had after I threads him, he was like, I watched the USB, hit me up on Threads, or hit me up on Instagram. I dropped you a follow, so he ended up following me on Threads and on Instagram. He was like, and he just messaged me on Instagram, send me your links and stuff. So I was like, okay. So I sent him my links, and that's when he listened to my music, and then he hit me back with a bunch of advice and a bunch of feedback.
Are you open to sharing?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a couple paragraphs, but it was just basically like you have, like, you know, you definitely know how to use a DAW. You're definitely understanding of how to make this music. Like, and he was, of course, like, thank you for, you know, telling me that that I inspired you. Like, that's really cool. He's like, just my biggest advice for you is just to have a really cool community, and to be yourself, and don't. Hey, he was like, have a lot of fun just doing it for, you know, doing it, kind of like what I had said, of like just doing it for doing it, because once the pressure comes on, like if what you're going for is you know, big success, then once the pressure comes on, it gets a lot more nerve-wracking, and the pressure is really on top of you. So he's like, just enjoy it before the pressure gets on. Like, just enjoy it before you have to deal with that pressure. Just enjoy it for just doing it. So he said, but just keep going and try new things, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Do you hear his voice in the back of your head like a lot? Like cuz you start, like, it's kind of the takeaway that you had is very similar to the advice that he gave you. Like the takeaway that you said at the beginning of this episode, beginning of our chat, is similar to the advice that he gave you. So is that like something that's always in the back of your mind?
Well, I think I've personally put a lot of pressure on myself, and not that anybody that is a fan of my music, or even in my comments of videos or whatever, has ever been has ever put pressure on me to not a ton of pressure to be like really like, yo, what the like, why haven't you released music? Put your music out more. Like, like I've never really gotten like that vibe from any of my fans or any of my audience or anything.
Mm.
But that doesn't mean I don't put the pressure on myself of like, oh shoot, it's been a month and 2 weeks. I haven't released anything. People are gonna forget about me. People aren't gonna listen to my music anymore. They don't know any of my old songs anymore. They don't listen to those. They want new stuff. They just constantly want new stuff. Like, but that's also just because I constantly want new stuff. Like I'm always like, okay, 'cause I listen to my own music all the time, and I'm like, okay, like as much as I love listening to my own music. Sometimes I'm okay. I want to listen to something new that I made though, 'cause like
Yeah.
my whole goal with learning how to make dubstep, it was of course it was a goal to like release it and make a name, like make a little bit of a name for myself because I think it's fun and it's a really cool time. But like the biggest goal was just to learn how to make dubstep. I wanted to learn how to make dubstep that I love. That was like the entirety of it,
Yeah.
and now I know how to make dubstep that I love, and it's fucking
Yeah.
sick. So like sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to make a new song because I want to listen to something new that's cool. you know?
Yeah. So you do put some pressure on yourself.
Of course, yeah. I put a lot of pressure on
Where do you
myself.
think, like, why do you think that is? Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. Like the momentum has slowed down a lot this year for sure. 2024 was crazy.
Why?
It was balls to the wall.
What happened?
I think I think the biggest thing was that the Denver scene. In 2024 I played a show every single month of the year. I played 17 shows in 2024. So more than a show every month. And it was great. That's how I gained a lot of my audience. That's how I talked to a lot of people. I had a great time in 2024. That was a fantastic time. I loved it. But I didn't want to be known as the local Denver DJ because
Mm.
there's a lot of people that get stuck. I feel like in Denver, a lot of people, they start a project here, they only play here, they never do anything else, they never get out of state, but they keep wanting to play shows because it's fun. But then you start just cycling the same venues. You don't get paid very well. You just start cycling the same venues. You just get known as the local DJ, or you get a
Mhm.
residency, and you don't go past that. You just kind of get
Mhm.
stuck in Denver. Some people want that. Some people want to just be their local DJ, and they want to have that's what some people want. But
Mhm.
I want to get my music as far and wide as possible because it's so cool to see that somebody's listened to my song in Japan. It's so cool to see that somebody's listened to my song in fucking Egypt. Like, what the fuck? How did that shit get all the way over there? Like it's wild. Yeah. So that's the goal, was just to have my music spread far and wide, and to do that, I can't get stuck being in Denver. So I in 2025, I told myself I was going to only play here because TJ Crucible, he ended up getting me hooked up with his booking agent too. And she told me that it's pretty because she ended up signing me to her booking agency as well, which we're still like sort of on board with each other, which is Seaview Talent Agency. We're still we don't really talk a whole lot, but I know that if somebody emailed her, she would definitely hit me up and go, hey, like somebody wants to book you. So,
Mm.
but yeah, so she's kind of on the. I mean, she's more of a professional than I am when it comes to booking things in general. So I kind of listen to her advice of like, you only want to play the same places, especially if it's your local. Like you only really want to play there once every quarter, technically.
Okay. So that's why it led to the slower 2025.
Yeah. So I kind of slowed down playing in Denver a bunch because I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't want to just make myself the local DJ that everybody
Yeah.
just knew as the Denver DJ. I want to be the everywhere DJ.
Yeah.
So.
That must have been hard.
Yeah, for sure. Which then I feel like kind of puts the pressure on to be releasing a bunch because
Right.
then I'm not playing shows. And my goal this year was to play a show, play a show in a different state, once a month. Even if it was the same state that I had been to before, I at least wanted to get out of state.
Yeah.
Even if I have to go to Iowa a couple times, in the same year, it'd be still cool to go do that. And
Totally.
in 2025 I did go to Iowa twice.
Well, I saw you open for Hi I'm Ghost.
Yeah, that was in Florida.
That was in
really
Florida,
cool. So
actually.
2025 I got out of state a lot more. Because
Yeah.
in 2024 I'd only got out of state one time, and then
Yeah.
that was to go back to back with TJ Crucible. That was in Seattle, and that was when I had gotten introduced to his booking agent and all that. So,
Cool.
yeah, so that's when that happened. And then 2025 is when I started getting out of state more, and that's when I went to Iowa, and then I went to Seattle, and then I went to Iowa again, and then I went to Florida, and now I'm going to Oklahoma City, for New Year's Eve.
Cool. All right, you're making your rounds.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So it sounded like you said it was hard, kind of the adjustment from going a lot of shows to less shows. Now this pressure to release music.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever question this path?
Oh, all the time, but that little tiny sliver of hope that's in the back of my head, and the motivation from people that have told me they love my music, and
Yeah, who believes in you when you don't believe in yourself?
I mean, all my fans and people, like, honestly, the people on my Snapchat are so fucking motivational, and they're such a fuel, like, they're such a fuel for me, because like I'll post a clip that like I might not be the biggest fan of, and I'll get fucking 40 story replies that are just like, "Yo, dude, this is sick! Like, this is nuts! This is wild! Like, we love this! This is awesome!"
Yeah.
And that just gets me like, okay, I'm fucking hyped up. Now I'm getting home tonight after work, and I'm gonna finish that shit so I can fucking get this shit out for the people that like it, you know?
Yeah.
And like I've been told that like I've inspired people, and like, which is already sick, that like I'm doing what Subtronics did for me, but for other people already, which is
Wow.
fucking so cool, that like people are like, "Yo, dude, like I'm making music because I've seen you go from like not knowing how to really do this to like now you're going fucking crazy and you're going out of state, and like it's fucking sick. So like I'm gonna do this. Like, you got any advice?" I'm like, "Yo, that's so fucking cool, dude. That's so
Yeah.
cool." Like,
Yeah, I love that. Wow. Okay, so that's like filling your cup, like the feedback from the fans, hearing stories like that. That is really cool. I can imagine that being just it just gives you a lot of
fulfilling.
energy. Super fulfilling. Yeah. Mm. And then what about like heroes in your life? So you mentioned your sister, who's
Mhm.
really, you know, was a huge reason you started producing, right? She invited you to the show, and sounds like she's been in the scene for a while and always been kind of like an angel on your shoulder, if you will. Would that be like accurate to say?
Yeah, she's well, she's just I mean, she's been through everything I've been through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, she's the only other person that understands to the fullest of the shit. You know.
Yeah.
And so like when we moved out from each other, and she moved out and went her own way with her boyfriend, and I moved out and went with my ex, and uh, when we did all that, like, we kind of went our own ways and did our own thing, and we didn't really talk a whole lot anymore. And not that like we weren't still friends, but like we just weren't talking every day, and like we used to when we lived together. Um, and then oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh, but we've always like been kind of doing the same things and not really realizing it. So like
Mm.
a lot of the things that like she ended up learning, and EDM and stuff like that. Like, we've always kind of been doing the same things, and learning the same stuff, but just on our own ways, like in
Yeah.
our own ways, and going on different paths. And so when we started living together again, when we started living together again, we were able to connect on a lot of new stuff, that we kind of went our own ways and learned a bunch of stuff, and then came back and
I think it's a pretty good segue. I would love to understand who, and you touch on it, but I'd love to understand who you are outside of music.
Mm.
You mentioned meditation and yoga.
Mhm.
Are those things that are in your kind of routine or in your lifestyle?
No, not really anymore. I used to kind of mess around with them a little bit, but I've found that you know, I don't know if it's necessarily. I think it is. I think they are very good things, and I think, every once in a while, like, me and my girlfriend will still go out front, and like, or in our backyard, and do some yoga, like, in the morning when we wake up, maybe. Um, but meditation, not so much. I think that I think that meditation can come in many forms,
Mm.
and I think there's a level of meditation to what I do in my day job of. And I know it sounds ridiculous being a mechanic. Like, how am I meditating while I'm being a mechanic? But I've gotten to a point in that career where I'm kind of doing things on autopilot a lot of times, because I'm just, I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm
Mhm.
used to what I'm doing.
Mhm.
I get to have my headphones in all day, or have music playing all day, and I have a little section of the shop that I have pretty much to myself. I mean, a lot of people just kind of leave me alone back there and let me do my thing, which is good. I kind of just get a zone out, and just, get the shit done that I need to get done, all while kind of being, sitting there and just being,
Totally.
zen or
It's like a flow
whatever.
state,
Yeah,
sort
it's like,
of.
yeah. yeah, or like even when I'm making music, like if I'm not really thinking and I'm just fucking boom, 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 like shit's just going out, like I think that can also be a level of meditation. You know?
Yeah.
I know that you're still thinking, and I know I think there's probably different forms of meditation. It's like sitting and being completely still and trying to and be thoughtless almost. Like that's a difficult task to achieve for sure. But
Yeah. Why do I keep forgetting my questions? Jeez, like they come into my head and they pop out. Um. Oh, duh. What gives you energy outside of making music? Because you have a lot of energy, and I love that so much. Like I could see it come through, especially when you're talking about dubstep. Is there anything else that lights you up in a similar way?
my girlfriend,
Shout out girlfriend. What's your
shout
name?
out girlfriend. Her name's Stevie.
Shout out
Great.
Stevie.
Let's go. Love that girl. Yeah, she's great. I mean, outside of work, I just I love hanging out with my friends. Beck, Chase, my sister. Her boyfriend Nick is a great guy too. I love him. He's awesome. We all hang out. We all hang out. We're all a gang. We like to go. I got a bunch of Pokemon cards. We're all into Pokemon, and we all go to the card shows and rip cards and stuff. So that's
Nice.
always a fun time. Yeah. So I like to do that, and obviously being a mechanic, so I'm a big car guy. Love cars. Building a car on the side right now.
Oh,
It's
sick.
yeah, it's a 2006 WX. I got it for $600 because I work at a shop, and we get fucking. My boss is a super good guy, so sometimes I get some really cool shit for really good prices, and so I was like, fuck it, dude, I'll build this one and make a fucking fast car again because I had a 2007 STI. That was my favorite car ever. Fucking love that car. So I want to get back to it again, especially because I work at a Subaru shop and it's a performance shop, so it only makes sense that I should have a cool, fast performance Subaru.
Yeah, I get it. Why does everyone in Colorado have a Subaru?
Because they're all-wheel drive. They're symmetrical all-wheel drive, which means that 25% power is going to all four wheels at all times. Whereas
I knew you'd have the answer.
yeah, and it's equally weighted from left to right. So it's fucking
So they're the best cars.
Yeah.
What's your take on EVs?
I think that the instant torque and the 0 to 60 times being very, very, very low is absolutely fucking bananas. But I think that the reason why a lot of the normal people that aren't into it for like instant torque, they're just into it because EV is saving the planet. I don't think a lot of people realize that to get that lithium out of the mines uses a fuck ton of gas and carbon emissions and shit like that. So like, and then not only that, but what do we then do with the spent lithium in your battery? And what are we gonna do with that? What are we gonna do with all these fucking battery packs?
Yeah.
So, I don't think I think that they have. I think we should really be focusing on hybrid. If I'm being completely honest,
I've heard that take before.
I think that if gasoline is on its way, I don't think gasoline will ever be on its way out. But if gasoline needs to come down for whatever fucking reason, and emissions need to come down that way, I think utilizing gasoline when it's needed for like power or something like that is super useful. But I think using hybrid to make it go longer is also incredibly useful. So I think for like an average consumer car, I think hybrids is the logical next step in like what people should be focusing on. I think EVs is too far in one direction if gasoline is too far in one direction. But I think gasoline we've learned so much about, and using just normal combustion engines. I think we've learned so much about that through the years of creating combustion engines that our knowledge on them far supersedes our knowledge on EV shit.
Sure.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that
Slightly hot take.
what?
I like a good hot take.
Okay, yeah, that's true. It is kind of a hot take.
It's not a super hot take, but it's not a cool take. It's like lukewarm take.
It's a lukewarm take. Yeah. But like race cars and shit, hybrid. Like I think like using the instant torque from a hybrid, like from an electric motor, but then using gasoline to like still have that fucking raw engine sound and make top high end power and shit. Like I think that is the way to go for sure.
Yeah.
When it comes to if you want to go fast.
Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
I want to go fast.
You're not first, you're last. You know.
That's where my head went as soon as you said that. Cool. I have some like kind of reflection questions
For sure,
as we
dude.
like wind down here. So I have a segment on the pod where the last guest asks a question to the next guest without knowing who it is.
Ooh, nice.
So this is a question from Nikademis.
Okay.
I think you might have already answered this question, but
Okay.
his question is, what's the most influential conversation you've had or piece of advice you've been given on your life?
On my life?
Life and or career. Could be both. Wherever like really feels to you.
On my life, probably be present, go with the flow. Like, go with the flow. Like, I think once you can really embody that, actually. Okay, I might have two.
Okay,
two.
where do they come from also?
Well, the go with the flow one and like just being present in the present moment is definitely comes from conversations that I've had with Keaton and you know, those psychedelic conversations and things where it's just like you start thinking about tomorrow while you're tripping. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but like at least what I've experienced. But like, you know, you're tripping and you're fully in and you're in deep and you're just talking with your buddy and you're just having a good conversation. But then your brain starts going into, ooh, what am I like? Fuck, what if tomorrow this? What if tomorrow that? Oh shit, I got work tomorrow. Like, oh, blah blah blah. You know, you start thinking about something that's not right now, and you start getting distracted, or you're on your phone and there's something happening in front of you that could be important, and you're on your phone, and you're not being present, and you're just what's around you and stuff. You miss out on some. You could really miss out on some really important things. You know. And it doesn't help getting worked up tomorrow. My big philosophy that I've followed a lot is like, don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday because they literally don't fucking exist. Like, you might not, like, as maybe morbid as this sounds, like, you might not make it to tomorrow. So, like, why get worked up about it and ruin today? Like, you could spend all day stressing out about, oh, fuck, what's going to happen? What's going to happen tomorrow? And you might not make it home tonight. Like, so you just stress yourself out for the last bit, you know, for no reason.
I love that. Very wise.
I try.
What was the second one?
The second one was just that you're not your thoughts. You're not this. You're not your thoughts. You're just the observer of them. You know?
Who's the observer?
I would say that's like your consciousness. Whoa.
If you can observe an observer, is there an observer?
You can't.
I had to go there. I'm sorry.
You can't observe your consciousness though.
Well, you're observing something. So who's the you that's observing? I spent a lot of time thinking about this.
Happening.
Your brain's about to be melted.
I
spent a lot of time thinking about this, so I just figured I would pose a question with the question. But not to take away from your point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you learn that from?
That like, I mean, psychedelics. Like I turn back to this. You know, I turn back to that every time. That like you just like sometimes when you're tripping, like you just be having the most random wild thoughts, and if you get attached to those thoughts, then you get stuck thinking about those things. Then you pull yourself into these spirals, and then you have a not so good trip because now you've spent your entire trip thinking about this one thing that you can't get your mind off, and now you're stuck on it all because you decided to associate yourself with the fact that could potentially be true and that could potentially be you. But in reality, you could have just totally allowed that thought to come and go, whoa, that's crazy that I just had that thought. Next, please.
I love how wise you are when it comes to like I'm someone that's pretty spiritual. I've developed my own spirituality through the years, and like this is what a bunch of spiritual people, like authors, or they wouldn't call themselves gurus, but gurus say like literally what you're saying, and you've learned them from psychedelic experiences, which I also found fascinating.
Yeah. So when I say like I turn back to psychedelics for when I say I've learned a lot from those, that's kind of what I mean, because like you can pull yourself into bad places sometimes with psychedelics, and it's a good lesson to. It's a good to see that as a lesson and then integrate what you learned from that instead of using it as a way to just get fucked up. But then if you have a bad trip, blame it on having a bad trip and on the substance. When in reality, it was just trying to teach you something.
Yeah. Feel that one too.
Yeah.
You're not your thoughts, people.
You are not your thoughts,
you are not
people.
your thoughts. Is there an important truth that you feel you've learned about the path you're on that you wish more people understood?
Being creative is not for the mentally weak. I will say that for sure.
Why is that?
Because on the days that you're gonna feel guilty for not, like, if you're serious about wanting to be a creative and you're serious about wanting to do this, especially as a DJ musician or whatever, like, you're gonna have days where you want to, but then you don't want to, but then you try and then it doesn't sound good, and then you try for weeks, then it doesn't sound good, and then you have this creative block, and like that shit weighs on your mental. Like it does, it really does. And like I've talked to a lot of my close friends about this, and Beck, who's also a fellow producer, and Chase, and even like my girlfriend, who she's obviously not a producer, but she's just dumps my stuff on her. So, but yeah, I mean, they just the not being able to be creative when you have been in the past and you've created amazing art before, and then not being able to do that consistently can really fuck with your mental for sure. Where it's like you really start to question, did I just get lucky? I know I keep coming back to that question, but like I ask myself that all the time, is like, did I actually really fucking know what I'm doing, or did I just get lucky putting random shit together and it sounds somewhat like good? And constantly asking yourself that question just isn't.
What's a thought?
I know, and that's what
That's a thought. It's like, did I get lucky? Well, that's a thought. So why is that thought there? It's like, might not be serving a purpose. Maybe it is.
Yeah, I know, and that mindset is hard to maintain sometimes. That's what I'm like. Even as somebody who knows those things, it's hard to.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep that mindset on top and have that voice be louder than the one that goes, yeah, but.
We like to forget.
Yeah.
As humans, we like to forget about the things that we learn.
We do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Sweet, man. I'm curious, is there anything else you want to share? Anything else you want people to know about you? Anything we didn't talk about?
No, honestly. I think we touched on quite a bit for sure.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you guys know my life story now, so I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. Sweet, dude. Well, I'm
Yeah.
really, really appreciative that you came on. I thought it was an awesome chat.
Oh yeah, it was a great chat.
Yeah.
I know I talked a lot. But
Well, I mean, that's the point.
Yeah,
Like, this
that's
is
true.
this is your platform, basically. I'm just sitting here, like, guiding the conversation, but
That's fair.
it's your story. It's not
Yeah.
my story. Like,
That's
sure,
fair.
I'll sprinkle in some tidbits here and there, but at the end of the day, this is you.
Yeah. Well, it's been incredible for sure.
Sweet,
Really
dude.
enjoyed it. Yeah, this place
I
is sick.
appreciate that.
Of course.
Cool.
Also, go follow me on Instagram at Tezarakt and on TikTok at Tezarakt Official. Yeah, I got some new songs coming soon, so make sure you keep up to date on those. You can also follow me on Snapchat at Tezarakt. It's literally all just at Tezarakt. So
All
hit
the
me up.
links will also be in the bio in the show notes and
Sweet.
YouTube bio, all that good stuff.
Sweet. Also, shout out to Bass Surgeons. I know you guys maybe saw the other
Johnny,
episode
we love you, brother.
for getting me hooked up with this guy, because this guy's fucking awesome.
Appreciate you.
Of course.
All right.
All right.
Sweet. Peace.
Peace out.
Much love. Thank you so much for listening. If any part of this podcast resonated with you, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like, comment, review, or sent it to a friend. It all really goes a long way. Much love.